Imagine a being who is all-powerful, all-knowing, perfectly good, and the designer of the universe. This is the God most major religions describe. It's a powerful image. But when we test that image with science, logic, and careful reasoning, it starts to fray. Today we'll examine, not with dogma but with evidence and argument, why the classical religious God is not a plausible explanation for the world we actually observe. If God is omnipotent and perfectly good, then unnecessary suffering shouldn't exist. Yet billions of humans and countless animals suffer from disease, natural disasters, and cruelty. Philosophers call this the problem of evil. You can patch it with greater good arguments or free will defenses, but those explanations struggle to account for horrendous natural evils, earthquakes, cancers, tsunamis, events that cause suffering nobody freely chose. If an omnipotent God wanted to prevent gratuitous suffering, the simplest move would be to prevent it. The magnitude and randomness of suffering in nature make the existence of a perfectly benevolent, omnipotent designer highly unlikely. Certain divine attributes clash with each other. Can an omnipotent being create a stone so heavy it cannot lift? If yes, there's something it cannot do, lift the stone. If no, there's something it cannot do, create the stone. The problem shows that unlimited power is logically incoherent. Similarly, if God is both omniscient and grants humans genuine free will, then our choices are known and thus fixed, which undermines moral responsibility. Either omniscience or libertarian free will must be abandoned. Major religions often accept both attributes. Analytic scrutiny shows they're hard to hold together consistently. Historically, gods explained puzzles. Why is there order? Where did life come from? Why do species fit their environments? Modern science supplies natural answers. The Big Bang cosmology explains cosmic origins without invoking a personal designer. Evolution by natural selection explains complex biological adaptation through unguided processes. Neuroscience explains mental states and moral intuitions in terms of brain activity. When a natural mechanism reliably accounts for a phenomenon, positing a supernatural designer is redundant, an extra entity that adds explanatory cost without new predictive power. Religious arguments often lean on gaps in our knowledge. If science can't yet explain X, then God did it. This is a risky strategy because history shows gaps close as science advances. Each time a gap is filled by a natural explanation, the God invoked for that gap retreats. Basing belief on ignorance is epistemically unsound. A robust explanation should make novel, testable predictions and survive attempts at falsification. The claim, God did it, typically does neither. Major religions make mutually exclusive claims about God's nature, commands, and history. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and others offer incompatible descriptions of ultimate reality. If a single personal God existed and intended clear guidance, why are the world's sacred texts so divergent? The simplest explanation for contradictory revelations is social and historical human authorship, rather than a single divine author. If an all-loving personal God exists and wants humans to form a relationship with him, we should expect clear, unambiguous evidence, especially evidence that reliably leads to correct belief. Instead, the evidence is ambiguous and culturally filtered. From a Bayesian perspective, when we weigh prior improbabilities, the immense novelty of a supernatural agent beyond all natural processes, against the weak, inconsistent empirical evidence, the posterior probability that the classical God exists falls dramatically. In plain language, extraordinary supernatural claims require extraordinary evidence. That evidence is lacking. Science favors simpler theories that explain the same data. Naturalism, the view that physical processes suffice to explain observed phenomena, does that elegantly. Positing a supernatural interventionist deity adds complexity without solving outstanding problems better than natural explanations. Unless a theistic hypothesis explains observations in a way naturalism cannot, including making reliable, testable predictions, it fails the parsimony test. If you still feel drawn to the spiritual, that's understandable. Meaning and awe are real human needs. But as explanations for how the universe actually works, religious claims about a classical God simply don't hold up to science, logic, and careful analysis.